We are here today outside the Jordanian embassy to urge Jordan to use its considerable influence to help free Heba Labadi, a daughter of Jordan, a Palestinian who was abducted on the 20th of August 2019 by Israeli occupation forces while she was travelling from Jordan to the West Bank to attend a family wedding in Nablus. Heba Labadi was stripped of all her clothes as soon as she was arrested, handcuffed, blindfolded and leg chained before being moved to the Petah Tikva interrogation centre. There she was horrifically tortured, both physically and psychologically. She was interrogated for 35 days. The torture sessions lasted 20 consecutive hours a day for the first 16 days, with only 2 30-minute breaks for food. They shackled her hands and legs to a small chair and positioned her body to slant forward so that she could not sit in a stable position. These stress positions are designed to cause maximum pain. Many detainees have never recovered from this form of torture. While she was bound, they violently shouted at her and physically abused her. Heba has had to endure countless degrading strip searches, sexual harassment, abuse, and humiliation, with interrogators provocatively touching her legs while she was tied up, and entering the bathroom with a machine gun, staring at her while she was changing her menstrual pad. They used physical violence and spat at her, insulted her religious beliefs. She said they threatened me and said that they had arrested my mother and sister in an attempt to force me to confess. Her lawyer was prevented from seeing her for the first 23 days of torture. Her mother has not been allowed to see her even after 2 months of imprisonment.
As part of the torture, Heba was constantly rotated between Israel's different torture dens to face different interrogators. These included the Russian compound of Jerusalem prison, which has been named the butcher shop by female detainees. One described her experience: "I felt my body burning under the electric shock machine. The intense pain so severe," another female detainee, kindergarten teacher, testified, "The interrogation went on for hours. They punched me in the stomach and a female soldier repeatedly kicked me in the head until I lost consciousness. When I awoke, I found myself in a cell, chained to a bed and bleeding. After I was examined by a doctor, they found internal bleeding in my kidneys." Heba was also taken to Megiddo, where young Palestinian father Arafat Jaradat, accused of throwing a stone, was tortured to death. Shin Bet claimed he had died of a heart attack, but the autopsy carried out at the National Israeli Forensic Medicine Center showed no sign of heart failure or any other illness, but revealed broken bones and found his whole body was covered in strong and excessive bruising under the skin, inside the muscle, and along the spine, at the bottom of the neck, deep inside the tissue. The autopsy determined the cause of death as nervous shock as a result of extreme pain from the intensity of the injuries, which resulted from a multiple direct and extensive acts of torture. Currently, Heba is caged at Al-Jalem, which is infamous for its tiny hole-in-the-ground cells, 3 floors below the surface, where children are often caged. A grandmother caged at Al-Jalem described it as, "I feel I was in the cell, death in all sense of the word, like a coffin." Heba, in a statement to her lawyer, said, "What I suffered in the interrogation and the detention conditions of cruelty and atrocity, I felt that this might be just imagination, but I lived it. It is abnormal and unjust, where I heard about their treatment, but it is different from the reality. This experience is the greatest injustice to humanity. Thus, we prefer death rather than humiliation."
When all the torture failed to secure a false confession, they told her, quote, "We do not have any evidence against you, but we have the administrative detention with the authority to renew it for 7 years and a half, and then we will detain you in the West Bank and prevent you from going to Jordan and deprive you of your family visits," unquote. On 24th September, Heba was slapped with a 6-month administration detention order. Administration detention is a practice whereby Israel arbitrarily imprisons Palestinians, often children, without charge or trial, indefinitely on rolling 6-month detention orders. It is often used to jail Palestinians when there is no evidence for a trial or as punishment. Palestinian prisoners have described administrative detention as, quote, mental slaughter, unquote. As there is no charge, so no way for them to defend themselves, and there is no indication of how long they will be imprisoned. As they complete one 6-month detention order and get ready to leave the prison with their family waiting at the gates, another detention order may be issued. Some prisons have been on rolling administrative detention orders on and off for 11 years.
2 days after receiving a 6-month administrative detention order on the 26th of September, Heba started her hunger strike to protest her unjust treatment. Today is day 20 of her hunger strike. Unlike most hunger strikes, she is not taking vitamins, nutritional supplements or salts, just water. So her health is plummeting rapidly. She has already lost nearly 10 kilos in weight, and her health condition is now very precarious. As punishment for her hunger strike, Heba has been moved to Israel's notorious Al-Jalami dungeon and caged in isolation in a filthy underground cell infested with cockroaches. Despite all the pressure to end her hunger strike, Heba is defiant. She insists, I will continue until the end of administrative detention or I shall die.
Jordanian Ambassador Mr. Omar Al-Nahar, Your Excellency, it is shameful that a daughter of the Kingdom of Jordan, Heba Labadi, has been abducted, tortured, sexually harassed, abused, and humiliated, left languishing caged in conditions not fit for a dog, for nearly 2 months without food for 20 days. No crime other than her ethnicity. We are here to ask your help in saving Heba Labadi, the honor of Jordan, from the clutches of Israeli torture. Today, Heba, in need of the full support of her country, Jordan, we implore you to help Heba Labadi. The Wadi Arabi agreement between Jordan and Israel gives you very strong leverage in pressuring the Israeli regime to free Heba Labadi. Our understanding is that at a time when the Israeli occupation refused Heba Labadi any visitation rights, your consul was able to visit her on the 3rd of September. Since then, her torture has continued and she has started a hunger strike. But your consul has not revisited her for the past 42 days. This sends the wrong signal to the Israeli regime. It emboldens their tortures. This Thursday, 17th of October 2019, Heba Labadi has an important hearing to confirm the criminal arbitrary 6-month sentence. She has been given without even a charge, let alone a trial. The Israeli regime has banned her lawyer and family from attending his hearing. So she stands defenseless in front of both a military judge and his prosecution team. If you choose to wield your considerable influence, I am sure, as I previously, your consul will be allowed to attend her hearing. Just his very presence besides her could persuade the judge to resign the criminal detention order that she faces. Heba Labidi's mother has not been allowed to visit her daughter. Please make representation with both the Israeli government and the ICRC to demand a mother's right to see her daughter. We ask you not to abandon Heba Labadi, to stand with her proudly and defend her rights, to exert all your strength that your people have entrusted in you to secure her freedom. Thank you. Free Heba Labadi! Free Heba Labadi! Free Heba Labadi! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine now!
I put that freedom one really nice.
Let's see what we want to control.